Hey YouTubers, as I was putting the final edit on my review of the 2025 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition, Honda released information on the 2026 models. And basically the 2025 and 2026 models are going to be identical. There will be a slight price increase of about $500 across the board on all trim levels on the Honda Ridgeline. Also, there'll be a few new color options. So, there will be a TrailSport exclusive color, ash green metallic, that you can order on the Ridgeline. Also, in 2026, you will no longer be able to order a black edition and radiant red metallic 2. However, there is a new color option on the black edition. You can still order the black edition in black, and you can still order it in Sonic Gray Pearl or Platinum White Pearl, which is what I have. But the new option is you can order the gray or the white with the top of the roof painted black. And so, like I said, basically there's some color changes, but the Ridgeline carries over into 2026 exactly the same as the 2025 model. So here's my review of the 2025/2026 Honda Ridgeline. Hey YouTubers, if you have been following my channel, you know I've had several Honda Ridgelines. And my first one, I had a 2012 Honda Ridgeline RTLE with navigation. That was an added option. Then I had a 2018 RTLE, and I went shopping for a new vehicle a few months ago, and I said, you know what, I don't really need a pickup truck anymore. I can get by without one, and I've already had two Honda Ridgelines. I don't want another Honda Ridgeline. Well, guess what? I got another Honda Ridgeline. This is a 2025 Black Edition, and it's also not only my third Ridgeline, it's my third white Ridgeline, which is something I actually wasn't planning on getting, but I'm really happy with my purchase. So I want to tell you about the vehicle, what I like better about it than the previous one I had, but I want to talk a little bit about how I ended up with Ridgeline number 3 before I get into the other. So, like I said, I didn't have to have a truck. We've gotten to the point where most of our home improvement projects are done, and those that are left, we're more likely to hire somebody to take care of. And so I felt like the times I was using the bed and the pickup truck were getting to be fewer and fewer, and I said, you know what, I could get something else now. So by process of elimination, here I am shopping for another Honda Ridgeline because it's a known entity. I know I will enjoy it. I know it will do everything I need it to do, and then some, because honestly I won't be using the pickup bed that often. But I just really like the vehicle, and I like the options it gives me and the utility it gives me and the great ride and decent gas mileage, and it suits my lifestyle. Like I said, I was ready for a change, but you know, it's a safe bet to just get another Ridgeline. So I started researching them. I've got some notes here, so bear with me. Now, when I decided, the last vehicle I looked at was the Prologue, and I took it for a test drive at the Honda dealer, and I told them I might be looking at a Ridgeline. And the Prologue was very nice, but a couple of things about it turned me off. Let me test drive a new Ridgeline while I'm here. And all they had in stock was a TrailSport, and so took that for a spin. Right off the bat, started the engine. It's like, okay, I hear the exhaust. The new ones have a dual exhaust. My other Ridgeline was quiet, but it had a nice little growl to it, and you really only notice it when you're sitting still and under acceleration. Once you're going a steady speed, it gets quiet, and I thought, this is kind of nice. It's got a nice little growl to it, a little attitude, but it's not obnoxious. So I thought, okay, this is cool. The all-terrain tires on the TrailSport were not as noisy as I was expecting them to be. It rode better and was quieter than I was expecting, so I was pleasantly surprised. The driving experience really impressed me. The suspension felt tighter, the steering felt tighter, the whole vehicle felt tighter and more substantial. You know, remembering back to how my 2018 was when it was new, the 2025s are better. And so at that point, I mean, 10 minutes into the test drive, I'm like, okay, I'm excited about getting another Ridgeline now. So I started looking at TrailSport versus Black Edition. I didn't really seriously consider the TrailSport, but I want to know how much more is a Black Edition, what do you get for your money? So at that time, it was about $1,400 more for the black edition. And here's what you got. Now on the negative side, the TrailSport has off-road suspension, which I don't want, and it has all-terrain tires, which I don't want. I do prefer the gray grille and wheels on the TrailSport. For $1,400 more, the black edition gives you ventilated front seats, which is nice, all-season tires, which I prefer, a more premium audio system, which sounds great. My previous Ridgelines, I replaced the stock speakers and I added extra sound insulation to the doors. I really don't feel the urge to do any of those things to this one. I'm happy with it just the way it is. We have the AC power in the bed of the truck, which I use occasionally and I do like to have, and you don't have that on the TrailSport. A 1 mile per gallon increase in highway mileage due to the different tires. That's nice. Heated rear seats. I'll probably never use them, but they're there. Rear USB ports, again, I'll probably never use them, but they're there if I need them. And you get the red interior accents. It looks okay. I'm fine with that. I actually like a two-tone interior. My previous Ridgeline had a tan and black interior, and if I could have got a gray and black or a tan and black, I would have gotten that. I think the all-black interior with red trim is nice, but I like the two-tone effect personally. Black edition it is. Now, after I made that decision, of course, the different colors that are available are black crystal pearl, which is a no-cost color, Sonic Gray Pearl, Platinum White Pearl, which you see here, and the Radiant Metallic Red 2. All the other colors are $455 extra unless you get a black one. And I have owned 2 black vehicles. I'll never do that again. You can't keep them clean. Well, the Radiant Red looks amazing, but good luck finding one. I checked with several dealers and nobody had any. Nobody knew for sure there were any inbound, and they had people already in line waiting for the next red one that comes in. So I went ahead and did the Costco program to get pricing on the vehicle. We used the Costco program to buy our CRV and it was a great deal. And so did that again, and it turns out that a dealership nearby is part of the Costco program, and they had one black edition on the lot, and it was the white, and that's my second color choice. So the Costco program gives us pretty significant discount off of MSRP and takes 15% off the cost of any dealer add-ons. And with the discounts I got from the Costco program and some negotiating, got it down to a price I'm very happy with. And so it has been a great vehicle, and I have zero regrets not buying any of the other vehicles that I'd considered first. So let me talk a little bit about what I like better about it than my 2018. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room first on the exterior, and that's the front end styling. The first versions of the second generation, which was the 2017, 2018, 2019, the styling was borrowed directly from the Honda Pilot, and it didn't look great on a truck. And so starting with, I believe, the 2020 models and above, we got the more upright truck-looking front end, and it looks way, way better. The wheel design, I never liked the wheels that were on the 2018. They looked, again, like something off of a minivan. And I much prefer the 5-spoke design that's on the 2020s and beyond. And even in the black wheels, which I don't love, the 5-spoke design looks much better. We now have a locking tailgate standard. That was something I had to buy some parts from a later model Honda Ridgeline and retroactively install on my 2018. And this locks electronically, whereas what I had to put on my 2018 was a key lock. The dual exhaust I already talked about, looks good, sounds even better. We have folding side mirrors now that fold electronically, and also the side mirrors have turn signals on them, which I did not have on the 2018. Now, the first generation Ridgelines had a 5-speed automatic transmission built by Honda. Honda is one of the few auto manufacturers that occasionally builds their own transmissions, and it was a good solid unit with no real issues. The early second generations had a Honda-built 6-speed automatic transmission. So the 17s, 18s, and 19s use that transmission. The new ZF 9-speed that's in the, I think I'm right on this, on the 2020s and beyond, is transformative. It makes this truck smoother on the highway with less disruptive upshifts and downshifts, since we've got much tighter gear ratios, and it makes it an absolute beast when you put it in sequential mode and stomp on the accelerator from a start, because it starts in first gear rather than starting in second gear as it does in drive. And this truck with a normally aspirated V6 has been tested at 0 to 60 in sequential mode at 6 seconds flat. That's pretty dadgum quick for a V6 pickup truck. So the transmission's the best thing about the new ones. If you're driving a Ridgeline that's got a 5-speed or a 6-speed transmission, trust me, you're going to love the new Ridgelines with the 9-speed. Okay, so I told you some of the things I love about the new 2025 Black Edition. Let me tell you some things that I'm kind of neutral on. The embossed tailgate with the Ridgeline name in it. I don't know, I think it looks a little busy. I kind of liked it before when it was just smooth with the big Honda logo in the center. The rear of the cab is black on all 2025s, regardless of trim level. I don't get it. I think they're trying to visually make the cab look smaller. Whatever, I'm not really keen on that. I really dislike the styling of the grills on all of them except the TrailSport. It just looks clunky and chunky to me. I already talked about I'm not a huge fan of black rims, but I don't dislike them as much as I did when I first got the truck. At first I was hell-bent on replacing them, and now I'm like, I can live with it. The front grille being black, everything's black on here. And to me, the murdered out trim, everything black, it looks a lot like the base level model of a vehicle, like the stripped down version. That's what you always see, is everything's black. And so I don't, they don't really differentiate. To me, the Black Edition doesn't stand out as being the premium top edition. It looks like a plain base edition vehicle to me. And they have Black Edition badging on the front grille and on the seats, but nothing on the tailgate. So I added that little Black Edition badge there. Disappointments. Honda is not known for being cutting edge. They sort of hold back and see what works in the marketplace before they commit to something. The infotainment system is still not state of the art, but it's much improved over the 2018, and I would have loved to have a 3D camera in this vehicle where you see a 3D view of your camera when you're in reverse. Some of the other vehicles I look at offer that. It would have been nice to have it here. All right, let me talk about interior improvements, and right off the bat, right there, the cup holders in the 2018 were awful. Finally, we have a real cup holder in here, so that's one of the creature comforts I really like. Infotainment system is improved in every way over the 2018. I have a physical volume and power switch now that we didn't have before. The other one was all touch screen. It boots faster, it responds faster, it's a bigger screen, and the premium sound system sounds better than what was in my 2018. We have the larger console and larger armrest. That's kind of a mixed bag. The previous 2018 Ridgeline, we had a sliding console lid and we had armrest attached to each seat. The handy thing about that lid was you could just plop something down there and it wasn't going to fall off. Obviously, if you put something on top of here, the first turn you take, it's going to fall off. Also, the previous Ridgeline that I had, when you open the lid, there was a tray that covered half of the console, and you could slide that tray forward or backward to get to things in the bottom of the console. Now when you buy your Ridgeline, you're going to open this up and find there's just a big cavernous hole. Now I bought an aftermarket accessory on Amazon, that tray, which gives you lots of storage space, and it comes with dividers that divide the bottom part of the console into 4 sections so you can kind of keep things organized. And these are not very expensive, but as you can see, if there's a passenger in the seat, I got to have them move out of the way, open the lid, take this out to get to something. The other console where you could simply slide the thing back and reach in was a little bit easier. So more space, more storage, a bigger armrest, and this is positioned perfectly. It's the same height as what's on the door, and so it's very comfortable. But it's more difficult to access, and you probably need to be parked to get into anything, to get anything out of here that's not right on the top. So a bit of a trade-off there. The previous Ridgeline had a heated steering wheel, but on the other Ridgeline, it would always be off. Even if you turned it on, shut your vehicle off, and then started the vehicle the next time, it would default to off. This one now, if you remote start your vehicle and ambient temperature is 40 degrees or below, it will come on automatically. And so that's a nice little feature to have. And overall, that's kind of a theme here. There's a lot of incremental improvements that make day-to-day life with the Ridgeline even better. Let's see what else I've got here. The sunroof and rear window and side windows seem to open and close much quicker than it did on the 2018. We've got built-in wireless CarPlay. I had some aftermarket adapters. I used my 2018 to give me wireless CarPlay, and they worked, sorta. We paired the phone in the parking lot at the dealership, and it's worked flawlessly ever since. And we've got a integrated wireless phone charging pad here. Let's see, one thing that I'm neutral on, if you read the forum, some people hate this with a passion, is the idle stop. Now, the way it comes from the factory, you start the vehicle, and if you don't want idle stop to operate, you push that button. And for the duration of that drive, idle stop will not kick in. Now, idle stop also will not kick in if your engine is not up to operating temperature, or if the air conditioner is working hard to cool the interior. But if those conditions are met, if the interior is a comfortable temperature and the engine's warmed up, when you come to a complete stop, it'll shut the engine off to save gas. When you begin to lift your foot off the brake pedal, it'll restart the engine, and the engine is running by the time you get your foot over to the gas pedal. So I don't see what all the fuss is about. I think it works fine. I have learned, though, that I can manipulate that a little bit with my brake pedal. And so if I come to, say, a four-way stop, and I know I'm just going to stop for a moment and then go, what you do is I push down the brake pedal, and I begin easing up on it slowly, and that prevents the idle stop from kicking in, and then it's my turn to go, and I simply go. If you keep your foot steady on the pedal, the idle stop will kick in, and then it's your turn to go, and you've used the idle stop for a few seconds where there's no real benefit. So if you kind of learn to modulate your foot on the brake pedal a little bit, you can selectively disable the idle stop and let it engage when you know you're going to sit at the light for a while, and it'll save you a little gas, and prevent it from engaging when you're just going to do a quick little stop and go. So I have zero problem with idle stop. I think it works great. The Honda engineers have installed a much more robust starter and a larger AGM battery to handle it. So I trust that the engineers know what they're doing, and I'm going to leave it alone. Like I said, there are aftermarket solutions that will sort of press that button for you automatically every time. Let's see, on the negative side, well, I talked about, I kind of miss the convenience of having a little catch-all space here that you could just plop things down and they weren't going to slide around. One other thing that I learned with the 9-speed transmission is sometimes when I want to look behind me when I'm backing up, for instance, if I've got cargo in the back that prevents me from looking out the back window and my tailgate is down so I can't use my backup camera, I would want to open the door and look behind me to back up. Well, if you're in reverse or in drive, as soon as you open the driver's door, it shifts to park. Okay, well, enough talk. Let's go for a little ride. I'm going to fire this thing up, take you for a little ride, let you sort of get a sense of what it's like, and then that'll conclude this video, and I'll be putting out another video to cover the last 3 accessories I've added to the vehicle since my last accessory video. So. That little beep you heard was my dash cam. Okay, I'll try to do my little brake modulation here and come to a stop without idle stop kicking in. So press down as hard on the pedal as I need to come to a stop, but then start gradually easing up on the pedal, and it keeps that idle stop from kicking in unnecessarily until I'm ready to go. It's something that I do now as second nature and don't give it any real thought. If I want the idle stop to work, press on the brake, keep the pedal firm, idle stop kicks in. I'll see if I can let the idle stop do its thing at this stop. Okay, I stop. It's shut off. Now it's restarted. I'm going to put it in sequential and let you hear it upshift and downshift with the paddles. Like I say, you'll notice it'll hang on to the gears a little longer and let the RPM come up a little higher than it does in drive. Okay, we got a hill coming up. I'm going to downshift. Now lift my foot off the brake. There's downshift, we're in third. Downshift into second. I'm just now using the brake pedal. You see how it's almost like a manual transmission there. It holds that gear and uses engine braking to help me come to a stop. It really changes the personality of the truck. That was starting out in first gear, and so it will do that in sequential mode. Normally in drive it starts in second gear. Put it back in drive. It's easier that way. you.